Enid Blyton's gift book of bedtime stories. Johnny, come at once. There was once a boy called Johnny who was really very tiresome. He would not come when he was called. His mother used to stand at the garden door and call him, Johnny, Johnny, come at once. No Johnny came. His mother would call again, getting cross. Johnny, Johnny, will you come? Can't you hear me calling you? Of course, Johnny could hear mother calling him. But he was busy at the bottom of the garden and he wanted to finish his game, so he didn't come. Johnny! Johnny! Where are you, you naughty boy? He would hear. And then at last he would go up the garden to find out what mother wanted. This happened every single day. Sometimes his mother wanted him to put on a coat if the wind turned cold. But she usually had to wait for 5 minutes before Johnny came up to get it. Sometimes she wanted him to come in and wash his hands because it was dinner time. But dear me, she had to call a dozen times and even go down to fetch him herself. Anybody would think you are quite deaf, she scolded the little boy. Children should always come at once when they are called. One day you will be sorry you didn't. I shan't, said Johnny rudely. You only call me to put on a coat or goloshes or wash my hands and put away my toys. I shan't be sorry. Johnny's father heard what he had said and he was very angry. Johnny, he said, in future, mother is only to call you once and you are to come. If you don't come, she will not call you again. Johnny said nothing. He just made up his mind that he wouldn't hear when his mother called. So the next day, when he ran to the bottom of the garden as usual and began to play at watering his flowers, soon his mother called him, Johnny, Johnny, come quickly, I want you. No Johnny came. His mother didn't call any more. She went indoors. But do you know why she wanted him? A box of chocolates had come for him from his Auntie Joan. His mother wanted to give it to him. He didn't come, said his mother to herself. Well, I'll give the chocolates to the little girl next door. So she did, and Katy was very pleased. Now, after a while, Johnny's mother took a pan full of lovely hot currant buns out of her oven, just done to a turn. She looked at them proudly. I wonder if Johnny would like one, she thought. He's always hungry in the morning. So she went to the door and called him again. Johnny, Johnny, come at once. Johnny wouldn't hear. He wouldn't come. So his mother gave the bun to a little boy who had come to deliver a parcel to her. He did get a nice surprise. He ran off eating the bun. A little while later, Johnny's friend Alan came knocking at the back door. Please, he said, could Johnny come to tea with me this afternoon? I expect he would like to, said Johnny's mother. She went into the garden and called, Johnny, Johnny, come here a minute. Johnny was just as deaf as usual. He didn't come. His mother remembered what his daddy had said, that she was only to call him once. So she didn't call again and went indoors. Alan, I'm afraid Johnny can't come to tea, she said. You had better ask someone else. So Alan ran off and he asked Kenneth instead. Johnny's mother went on with her work, thinking that Johnny really was a very silly little boy. Presently, it was dinner time. It was a lovely dinner. There was hot stew with potatoes in their jackets and a treacle pudding. Johnny's mother set it on the table and then she called Johnny to come in and wash his hands for dinner. Johnny, Johnny, come along in at once. Johnny didn't pay any attention at all. He was in the middle of digging a new flower bed for himself. I expect mother only wants me to put on a sun hat or something, he said. I'm not going. So he didn't go. His daddy came home to dinner and sat down to the delicious stew. Where's Johnny? He asked. I've called him for different things 4 or 5 times this morning, said Johnny's mother. But he didn't come at all. I've just called him in now, as it's dinner time, but he hasn't come in yet. I'd better call him again. No, don't call him, said Johnny's daddy. He can go without his dinner. So Johnny's mother and father ate all the stew and finished all the treacle pudding, which really was simply lovely. Now, after a while, Johnny began to feel really dreadfully hungry. It surely must be dinner time, he thought. I'll go and see. So off he went up the garden and in at the kitchen door. His mother was just washing up the dinner things. Mother, isn't it dinner time yet? Asked Johnny. Oh, it's long past dinner time, said his mother cheerfully. Daddy and I have had ours, and I'm just washing up. I did call you, Johnny, long time ago, but you didn't come. I'm very hungry, said Johnny. What's for dinner? Well, there was some stew and some treacle pudding, said his mother. But Daddy and I have eaten it all. You should have come when you were called. Oh, mother, said Johnny, beginning to cry. I do want some dinner. Well, I will cut you some bread and butter, said his mother. And there is some cold rice pudding left from yesterday. That's all there is. So poor Johnny had to sit down to a dinner of bread and butter and cold rice pudding. And he didn't enjoy it a bit. He kept thinking of that stew and that lovely treacle pudding he had missed. If he hadn't felt so hungry, he would have refused to eat it. I suppose you didn't hear me calling you this morning, said his mother after a while. It was a pity, Johnny, because the first time I called you, I wanted to give you a box of chocolates that had come for you from Auntie Joan. Oh, mother, how lovely, said Johnny. Can I have them now? No, you can't, said his mother, putting away her dishes. You didn't come when you were called, so I gave them to Katie next door. She was very pleased. Johnny burst into tears again. But they were my chocolates, he sobbed. Well, not exactly, said mother. You see, Auntie Joan had put a message in that said, these chocolates are for a good child. And you didn't come when you were called, Johnny, so you were naughty. Katie had been good today, her mother told me, so I thought they would do for her. She was pleased. Johnny felt very upset indeed. What did you call me for the second time? He asked after a while. Let me see, said his mother, trying to remember. Oh, yes, I had baked some of your favorite currant buns, Johnny, and I thought you might like one. I called you, and you didn't come. So I gave the bun to a little boy who had left a parcel. He was so surprised. I do wish I had come, said Johnny, angry with himself. I suppose he ate the bun. Oh, yes, said his mother. And then the third time I called you was when Alan came to ask you to tea this afternoon. I called you to ask if you would like to go, but you didn't come. So I told Alan to ask someone else instead. Mother, oh mother, I would so have loved to go, wept poor Johnny. You know, Alan has a new railway line and a fine clockwork trade. I did so want to see it. Oh, why didn't you call me again? Johnny, you know what Daddy said Mother. I'm only to call you once. And if you don't come, I'm not to call you again. It was your fault that you missed all these treats and your dinner too. Mother, I shall always come at once when you call me now, said Johnny. Sometimes it may be for things like putting on my coat, but sometimes it may be for treats. So I'll be good and come in as soon as I hear you. Very well, Johnny, said Mother. Now you can go out to play again, and just remember what you have promised. Out went Johnny, and dear me, he spent all afternoon listening for Mother to call him. But she didn't call him till tea time, and by that time he was so hungry that he came before she even finished calling his name twice. I'm sure he will always come when he's called now. And if you know anyone who doesn't, just tell them the story of Johnny. They'll soon be sensible then. The end.